G'day, I'm Melissa Shanhun, founder of digitalscrapbookinghq.com, and today I've got the brand new Adobe Photoshop Elements 15 here, and I'm going to walk you through some of the brand new features that are in the photo editor. I'll have another video to cover the organizer, which I do love. You must watch that one as well, but for now, let's jump into the photo editor. The photo editor is this button on the left here, and also what you'll use to create digital scrapbook pages if you love doing that like I do. You can find out more about digital scrapbooking at digitalscrapbookinghq.com. So let's jump into the Photoshop Elements editor. So here we are in Photoshop Elements editor. This screen that you're looking at right here is called the ELive Screen. It will bring you inspiration, help, and troubleshooting content. It's constantly being updated and added. So we can now use this brand new search button to search for something we might want to learn. Say you want to know how to clone. We've got, that's an article from me, and another article, and some related help topics. Really handy if you're new to Photoshop Elements. Of course, you can just browse through and see what catches your eye. So, I just wanted to show you the ELive screen because a lot of us just skip past it, and it might be really helpful for you in learning something new and how to use Photoshop Elements. So the next tab up the top here is our Quick Edit mode. This Quick Edit mode has a basic set of tools here, and it allows you to make quick adjustments to your photographs. I've got a class all about how to use quick edits. You can learn more at digiscraphq/fast photo fixes, and I'll talk you through how to use the quick edit mode and some of the things you can do with it. In Photoshop Elements 15, there's been some improvements to the quick edit mode, but in general, the function is what you're used to. You can use File Open or click the Open button to access a photograph you want to edit. Click Open, and then you can click on the Adjustments panel and do a quick Smart Fix by clicking Auto. Add an effect, like the Smart Looks gives us a few different looks as you move your mouse or click on them. That will apply all the different effects. And of course, you can just click Reset Image to get it back to how it was originally if you decide it's something you aren't keen on. You can also add a cute frame to your image very easily. In the Effects panel, the Smart Looks, which were added in Photoshop Elements 14, are based on your photograph itself, so they'll be different for every single photo you open. And then there's some other effects that are the same for each image, and of course you can customize the look by clicking any of the thumbnails that are underneath the main image. So there's a fun look. And you can also change the view to before and after. There's before, there's after. And you can click File, Save to save your image and use it by printing it out, adding it to a scrapbook page, uploading it to Facebook, and all that good stuff. You can share using Facebook, Flickr, or Twitter. You could create a photo print book, greeting card, Facebook cover, or even a slideshow if you've got a selection of photos that you want to use. So there's the quick edit mode. Now let's jump in to the guided edit mode. Let's go back. Let's close this image. I'm going to go over to the guided edit mode. You'll notice in the guided edit mode there are several tabs, and they have different types of edits that you can do on your photo. And in this video, I'm just going to show you the brand new ones for Photoshop Elements 15. Let's start with the FX collage. Under the Fun Edits is our first brand new guided edit called the effects collage, and let's just jump in and try that one. So it prompts us to open a photo. So let's go ahead and open one. So now you can see my open file is down the bottom here, and I'm going to click on the effects collage. So we need to select what kind of collage you'd like, and you can click on them to preview what it's going to look like. For me, I think I'm going to go with have a look at how the vertical boxes look. Yeah, I think I like these horizontal boxes. So let's go with that. Then we choose a style for the collage, and there's a list of different styles. Let's just have fun and try a couple of them. Now I think that's kind of fun because we've got that blur look, but this main one down the bottom is still pretty true to life. So let's go with that. Now you can adjust the intensity of the effect by using the slider. There we go. So I think I wanted a little more intense than that. Yeah, let's go with that. Then when you've finished selecting everything, at any point you can always reset the picture using this button here. When you've finished and you're happy with how it looks, just click on the next button, and then you can save. That saves over the image, save as, or continue editing in quick or expert mode, or share it on Facebook. So let's continue editing in expert mode. In expert mode, you can click on the layers panel, and we have a sneak peek of a new feature. There's a layer group, and then we can adjust each individual frame and customize the look ourselves. So let's save that one as a PSD file, and then we can come back and edit it later. Okay, so let's check out another brand new guided edit in Photoshop Elements. Under the Fun Edits again, we've got the Painterly edit. So you can see that in the sample image here what kind of effects you can get. So you click on the paintbrush, and then you click several times on your main image to reveal the painting. So if you just want it looking painted at the edges tiny bit, you can click it more times. Of course, let's reset. And then you can use your keys, your left and right square bracket keys, to make your brush smaller if you want to. You can also use the hide mode to kind of paint back some of your image. And you can also reduce the opacity for a more subtle look. Another great thing to try is changing the angle of the brush for a little bit more of an inconsistent, natural kind of look. Then you can select your canvas color, black or white. I think black looks really good with mine. Or you can even select a custom color. Green, purple. I think we'll stick with black. We can select a texture for our canvas. This is fun. I'm going to increase the opacity here just so you can see how the different textures look. I think I like this one. It's going to increase the texture a little bit. And then you can select an effect for your painting. The effects are dry brush, paint daubs, smart looks, sprayed strokes. Let's try that one. Watercolor. Oh, that's pretty. Rough pastels. So I think the watercolor one looked my favorite, I think. Now, of course, you can skip any of these steps, and once again, you can either undo or reset the image if you're not happy. Let's go. And then Save as, and then you can share it on Facebook, Flickr or Twitter, or you can continue editing it in quick or expert mode. So let's jump over to expert mode, and again you can see there's individual layers that you can turn on and off to customize the look. And then here's your original image in the background if you need to start over. So that's the Painterly guided edit, something that's fun that you can use to make a fun effect. Now let's jump back to the guided edit and look under the special edits tab. We've got our own frame creator. You can create a new frame by making a selection of your own frame designs. So here I am in Photoshop Elements, and I have just used the shape tools to create a few shapes, stars, in the rough shape of a frame. Now you could do this with anything. You wouldn't have to, you could use brushes, you can use anything at all to create your frame. So I'm just going to add a little box border here. I'm going to create a new layer and repeat the process for a rough border around there. And just going to, so I've got a little blue border there. There we go. So we've got some stars, we've got a little blue border around the edge, and let's see what kind of frame we can create with the frame creator. So let's go into the guided edit mode. We'll click on frame creator, and then we're going to select a tool to make a selection. So we're going to use the magic wand tool, I think, because we've got this large white area. You can see it's easily created the selection here, but we also want to add a couple more bits to our frame. So we're going to just use the magic wand tool and hold down our shift key. Just going to add these little white bits in. So our frame will go around the photo, and any parts that are white won't cover the photo. There we go. Looking good. You can see the areas that you've selected have marching ants around them. So you can zoom in if you want and just check, yep, everything's right. It's all looking good. I've got one more here. Hold down shift. Yep, everything's right. Hold down shift. Then we need to click create frame. Then we can click save frame, and we can call it starry border, and it's saving our frame. It's just doing a bit of processing for us. So once your frame is created, you can click done, and then you can use it. Let's try creating a new file, and then you can look under graphics and then frames, and then you can pull your frame in to a new document by just clicking it, and then select a photo, to move and resize inside the frame. Now the great thing is you can actually change that photo at any time, and then you can move it around, and you can notice the transparent grey part. You can zoom your photo in or out to get it exactly how you look. And the great thing is you can even you can make your own custom frames that you like to use again and again, and you can even export or share frames as you like. So there's a couple more guided edits that have been added in this version. We have the speed pan, which blurs the background of your photo to make it look like your subject has more speed. And then there's also the photo text. So this is under the fun edits as well. And I'm going to open a different photo to use. And here we've got some koalas in the zoo here. I'm going to click on the type tool. Just going to type koalas. And then you can resize the text, move it around to get it just how you want it, to make it fit exactly what you'd like. Then you can select your background, have it on a clear background if you're wanting to save it as a PNG file or use it in a scrapbook page, on a black background or a white background. I'm going to pop mine on a black background for now. Might even change it to koala because there's only one that I can see in here. There we go. Then we can crop the image to make it just that smaller area, and you can add some effects. A bevel. You can even click on Advanced to use the Style Settings dialog and adjust it for how you'd like it. I'm happy with how that looks, so I'll click Next. And then again, you can continue editing or save it. So I love to pop over to the expert mode, and then you can see they've preserved your original image in the background, and you can see how they've created that look made up of layers. I love how they've given you the opportunity to really access the layers and see how these effects are created, because then you can go about creating them, customizing them, and making them look just how you like. But if you don't want to get fancy, you can stick to the guided edit and you can see how you can make beautiful effects collages, frames, and image text with just following the tutorials in the guided edit mode. Now, for those of you who've been waiting on some of the new features in the expert mode, I've got some great news for you. We've got a lot of great new features that scrapbookers and other people who do advanced editing will love. So I'm just going to show you those. So here I am in Photoshop Elements Expert mode. Now this is a double page 24 by 12 scrapbook layout. And I'm going to show you some of the great new features that are included in Photoshop Elements 15 and how they can make your life easier when you're working on a project like this. Now, in the past, when you've used a template from a scrapbook designer, you've never been able to see more than the layers they've actually provided in the files. In Photoshop Elements 15, you now have access to seeing more. You can see your color coding, and you can also see and create groups. Now, there's been a big change to one of our favorite keyboard shortcuts in Photoshop Elements. It's always been Control-G or Command-G on the Mac to clip a layer to another, to create a clipping mask. That all changes in Photoshop Elements 15. We're now going to be using the same shortcut that's used in Photoshop CC, which is Control-Alt-G to create a clipping mask. If you press Control-G, it will create a layer group. Now, a layer group is, well, a group of layers that you can use as a group. So if that doesn't make much sense, let's show you a demo. Now, down here on my layout here, I've got the title, some confetti, and some embellishments. I could use my mouse and the layers panel to shift click to select these items. Now I can create a group by going to Layer, Group Layers, and I can even rename this group to Title. Now if I have a change of heart and decide that my title needs to be moved, I can move it along with the embellishments that I use to create a cluster around my title. And I might move it, say, up to the top of the page. Really quite handy. You can also create your own color coding. So I could actually select this group and allocate it to be red, violet, yellow, or no color. So that makes it really easy to quickly identify which layers are where on your layout. You could create groups for a cluster of embellishments or alpha stickers, for example, and you can also use groups to apply some layer styles to every item in the group in one fell swoop. I can add a bevel, whatever that chrome effect, wacky metallic effect, or the same drop shadow even to every item in the group. You can also just clear the layer style at the group level, and you'll notice that any styles that were applied to just the item in the group aren't affected. So it's pretty clever. Layer groups is something that scrapbookers and more advanced Photoshop Elements users have been wanting for a while. There's something else that you might have been wanting if you're a scrapbooker. It's the option to turn on or off smart objects. So let's go to the Edit Preferences menu to see what I'm talking about. We can click on Disable Smart Objects, and that will mean whenever you click and drag to add, for example, if we wanted to add this photo to that layout, usually we click and drag to bring it into our document, and it's created a smart object. Now, I love smart objects, but not everyone does. Smart objects retain all the pixel information, and so you can resize them as many times as you like, but you can't actually just get a brush and draw straight onto a smart object. It always gives you the prompt to simplify it. Also, smart objects make your file sizes a bit bigger. So for some people, they'd prefer to turn off smart objects. You can certainly do that with Photoshop Elements now. I'll just delete that layer. And now if I change the preferences to disable smart objects, if I go ahead and drag that photo in again, it's now not got the smart object icon, and as I resize, press enter to apply it, now I can't size the file up again because only those pixels that are currently displayed will be kept. So if you're using an older computer or you like to do a lot of artistic work on your layers, you might really appreciate having those smart objects turned off if that works for you. There's also been a couple of other improvements to some tools in Photoshop Elements. So one of the brand new exciting features in Photoshop Elements 15 is the Enhance Adjust Facial Features. In this photo, I've got a little bit of a sad look here on my 2-year-old. This photo is courtesy of julianmasters.com.au. And let's have a look what we can do to adjust her face. So we've got the lips on the side here. There's lips, eyes, face. And you could use it to get some fun cartoonish effects, but I'm just going to use it slightly to get Lucy smiling a bit. So we're going to just click Smile and drag that up. And then we're going to actually, you can increase the width. I don't think we need to do that. We'll just leave that pretty much as it. And we'll actually reduce the size of the lower lip. And at any time you can just click Reset and it'll take you back. So we'll just increase the smile a little bit, make the lower lip a little bit less obvious, and there we have it. You can switch to before and after. Bit happier there. Click OK. And then I'll show you it again on this picture. Enhance, adjust facial features. Now Edward's looking pretty happy there, but let's give him a bit more of a smile. We can even increase the size of the upper lip a bit. You can see before, after, a little bit more of a smile. And we could even increase the height of my eyes a little bit so I look less squinty. And click OK. So you can see there, before, after. Before, after. And let's try it again. So much fun. I'm sure you're going to have a great laugh, and you could adjust multiple people's smiles. And you can help yourself get that perfect group shot. Or if you have one of those birthdays where your 2-year-old, every photo you've shot isn't quite looking so happy, you just do a little bit of photoshopping, because you know they really were happy. They just weren't that keen about the camera that day or whatever. So I'm sure we're going to see lots of fun examples of people making big doe eyes or something like that as well, but I'll probably use it in little subtle ways just like that. Now, in the expert mode, we've also got 51 new backgrounds and 52 new frames in the graphics tab. So if you like to use pre-designed elements and frames on your photos or in your scrapbook pages, you totally can do that. In this case, we've got a very fancy looking frame here. It's probably not the right size. Let's cancel that. So each frame is actually hosted on the Adobe website, so you will need to wait a couple of seconds for it to download. Probably not as long as mine, because I'm here in Australia in the land of slow internet, and you can easily create a beautiful frame for your photo and use one of the many new backgrounds to let's go for that wood grain background. And now I've got the start of a great Christmas card or scrapbook page right there. And they're high resolution graphics, so they'll look really good when they're printed out as well. Something else that's been revamped in Photoshop Elements 15 is the filters. Let's go back, select the photograph itself, go to filters, film grain. We can adjust the intensity of the look and add a little bit of film-like grain. And if you zoom in, you can see it there. Now, filters can be applied multiple times. So I could actually reapply that grain again for another layer or added intensity. Probably won't do that in this case. Now, filters are actually applied to the photograph itself, so you'll just want to undo film grain if you didn't want to apply it. It's not like a style that you can just switch on or off. Another improvement that's been made to the filters is that you can actually apply them multiple times. So in this case, we'll apply some blur, and then you can keep applying more and more blur. In this case, the photo, and then just click the green tick when you're done, and you've applied quite a lot of blur. In our case, we don't want to do that, so I'll just undo that blur. I can undo it or redo it, and you can see there that it's quite a lot of blur that's been added. So another great new feature is that the content aware move options have been improved. So now I can show you this in this photo. So we've got the content aware move tool selected, which is this crisscross one here. Shortcut is Q. Now let's say that we want to move our tree. Just going to use my quick select here to just select the tree before we get started. This is the tallest carry tree in the Perth metropolitan area. It happens to be about 2 minutes from our house. And we want it to select the item and then slightly outside. So we're going to just modify the selection by expanding it 5 pixels. Another 5 pixels. There we go. So now we can use our content aware move tool because we had a little complex one. We're going to keep it on move, and we're just going to move this tree. Let's move it over to here, and then we just wait for the magic of Photoshop. So we can do a bit more healing if we want to heal the sky, and we could try moving it to other spots if we wanted to, but I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So then I can just go into the background here, deselect, and just do a bit of healing on the sky. And with a bit of work, you wouldn't even know that that tree was even ever in the middle of the shot. So now under the crop tool, we have a brand new feature called the perspective crop. So you can click on this icon here, you make your selection, and remember that the outside, this is actually where it's going to crop my photo here. So I could make that bigger, but for the purposes of this, I'm aligning it so that I'll just have that area. And I can use these little grid lines to line them up along these poles. So I can get everything looking just square, and almost, there we go. Click on the green tick, and then voila, you've got a square on image. This is great for buildings or anything where you've taken them on an angle, just to make everything look square and accurate and perfect in your image. So in the Photoshop Elements editor today, we've seen a lot of features like layer groups, layer color coding that you'll love if you're a scrapbooker. Plus there's a great collection of new graphics for you to use to create beautiful frames and art within Photoshop Elements without purchasing any extra kits. Now, I hope that you'll join me for my next video, because I'll be sharing with you the exciting new features that are coming to Photoshop Elements Organizer. I'm a huge fan of Photoshop Elements Organizer, and I hope you will be too. So check out digitalscrapbookinghq.com for all the information about Photoshop Elements 15 and how you can use Photoshop Elements and your photos to create your own beautiful scrapbook pages.